Welcome back. The Great Transfiguration and Spiritual Tourism in Egypt, in the heart of South Sinai region, St. Catherine is home to the greatest transfiguration over the Land of Peace project. The Egyptian government pays close attention to maximize the benefits of this city's tourism potential, which includes archaeological, religious, environmental, and heritage aspects. Since the selection and development of St. Catherine, the city is considered one of the significant milestones for the rebuilding and expansion of Sinai. And it's a very important project. And we're very delighted to be having with us over the phone Mr. Elhamy El Zayat, the tourism expert. Good morning, Mr. El Zayat.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Fine, thanks.
Let us talk about the importance of developing the Great Transfiguration site in St. Catherine and its impact on tourism movement.
Well, it's first of all a diversification of our tourist products because we have so many things to offer and we have to diversify because not everybody visiting Egypt has the same interest. Of course, the pyramids are at the heart of everything, but all the rest is an added plus so that people can visit and see something more. St. Catherine historically was asked to be built by St. Helen. She was the mother of the emperor of Byzance, and she did order as well the building of the Saint Sepulchre in Palestine, in Jerusalem. This has a very big significance for the Christian and the Jews. For the Jews, because there is the burning bush. You know, when you enter in the church itself, at the entrance, before you enter, there is the burning bush. The burning bush is a plant that grows, and it's very important for the Jews because it has been there since Moses was there. And without adding water, without anything, it grows, and you can't transplant it and put it somewhere else. It's really restricted to this area. Why? We don't know. It's a phenomenon very important, and people like to see it. Secondly, the monastery in itself is very interesting. You know, when you enter the monastery, you will find all the bones of the priests who have been there in this monastery, the bones and the head, the skulls. It has one of the best library in the world. I mean, for ancient times, especially concerning the Bible. It was closed for a long time because, you know, it's under the Greek supervision, and they renovated the library, the books as much as they could. They restored them. And the reason why it was closed, because a Russian one day who was visiting stole one Bible, one of the manuscripts of the Bible, and he sold it to England. And so at one point they restricted completely, so with the special permission from the Archbishop of Alexandria, the Greek of course, and from the Greek ambassador. But now it's open, and it's very, very interesting. After the magnificent restoration the Greek have done, it took them over 30, 40 years to do this. They've been working on this project a lot of time. So, as you can see, it can attract everybody from all tendencies, and of course the Egyptian as well should go and visit because it's part of our belief. We believe in the Bible, we believe in the Gospels, so we should visit this as well. Now, a big hotel, a major hotel, has been constructed there, and mind you, this will be a hotel of a special type because people really spend one night there. For the time being, they go from Sharm el-Sheikh, and there is a small hotel there that existed because you have to start climbing Mount Sinai, where Moses received the Ten Commandments. You start climbing at 2 o'clock in the morning because you have to reach there before sunrise. And believe me, sunrise over there is breathtaking. It's something you shiver when you see it. it's inspiring everybody. And then you go down, and that's the most difficult part because you have 2,500 stairs to go down, and if you have vertigo, that's a problem because you see down, and it's a bit scary when you go down, and then you are tired really by the time you come down. But it's worthwhile the experience. This monastery is the only monastery which Prophet Muhammad said you should not touch this monastery, and they have a letter which was dictated by the Prophet and which they have at the entrance of the monastery. So, as you see, the three religions combined have an interest in the monastery. The only thing we have to make sure is they do close when they fast, and they do close on certain Greek holidays, Greek Christian, Orthodox Christian holidays. So we have to make sure that you go when it's opened. And before it was very interesting because they used to put people in a basket and take them, pull them up and get them inside the monastery. Now the doors are open, so it's a different experience. But it's a worthwhile experience, and as I said, anybody going to Sinai who wants some culture has to go to this monastery.
Right. How can the historical and spiritual value of St. Catherine be used to promote the religious tourism inside that area?
Well, the history itself of the monastery and the building of it, plus, as I said, it inspires the three religions. So it's not one religion specifically. It's the three of them have an interest. So you can attract people from all over the world. And it has nothing to do with the visit of the Holy Family. This is a completely different product. So it is not, people are not restricted to visit the other things. They can go anywhere, but this is very specific to the Greek Orthodox people in principle, but to all other religions. And President Sadat, I remember vividly after we signed the peace agreement and the Sinai was returned to Egypt, he considered building a church, mosque, and temple for the Jews, or a synagogue for the Jews. So it's the area itself is very inspiring. You see, go there, you get a special feeling, you get shivers.
Right. So does the development of the Great Transfiguration site in St. Catherine contribute to the development of the path of the Holy Family, you think?
No, this is what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with the Holy Family. The Holy Family, they came from the north. They came from El Arish. If you remember the first point, they entered Egypt was El Arish. And then they went to Zagazig. And then they went to Mansoura. And then they crossed to the other part of the Delta. And then they went to Wadi Natrun. And they went back to Cairo. And they went south. So it's a completely different itinerary. It has nothing to do with this one. And usually people who come for the other one, they specifically come for the other one. They will not go to St. Catherine. But you have to remember that this also is, we had in the old time, we had daily tours coming from Tel Aviv to St. Catherine. A lot of Australians, Americans, they used to come in the morning and leave in the evening. And the flight, but the airport is very small. So it can only cater for small airplanes, not for large ones.
Right. And also, speaking about St. Catherine, it's one of the most important and the most charming spots in Egypt, and it has its own tourists, like you kindly mentioned. Also, there are seasons where people flock to St. Catherine. How far is that true?
Oh, you definitely have. First of all, you have a lot of the Greek diaspora in the United States. The people, the Greek Orthodox who went to the United States, they're quite numerous and they have money. So they do ask for this on their way to Eilat, where they cross the border from Eilat. So they all go to St. Catherine. but it's not restricted to them. Many French people, many Italian, many people go there. And before it was closed, of course, when we had the terrorism in Sinai, but now it's open and it's clear, and it's good to visit. And now, as I said, many Americans and Canadians and South Americans like to go to St. Catherine. For them, it's very inspiring.
Right. Probably when people talked about the word contribute to the path of the Holy Family, they meant that this type of tourism might add value to the path of the Holy Family. I mean, the monastery tourism and the religious tourism and St. Catherine with its history and value might also add to the type of tourism that, or tourists that come over to visit the path or take route over the path of the Holy Family. I mean, that type of tourism, how popular is it when it comes to religious tourism in Egypt?
Well, it's starting, but the problem is that some people are claiming they should visit all the sites where the Holy Family stopped. There are 26 sites. And this requires a lot of time. It requires at least 30 days or 35 days. So what I always said is that you have to reduce the number of visits so people can come. Nobody comes to Egypt without seeing the pyramids. This is a must. Then you can show them the highlights of the Holy Family in Cairo. You have a lot of things from the Holy Family. You have the Saint Serge, you have the 7 churches there, you have the synagogue, and you have the Mosque of Amr ibn al-As, which is very important. And then you can go to Minya, for instance, which is not very far. But you cannot do the whole thing. You can go to Zagazig because there is, they said that when the Holy Family passed by the temple there of Bastet is the cat, all the head of the statues fell down. So it's a legend, of course, but it's a legend that people who believe in it like to visit. So I said you always can add something for certain categories, and it's very good for the economy because people who do this, they spend more money than the regular tourists.
Right. At this point, Mr. Elhamy El Zayat, you are a tourism expert. Would like to thank you, sir, so much, and you have a good day. And by this week, our pleasure, sir. By this, we come to the end of this edition of the Breakfast Show for today. Many thanks to all of you. Until we see you again tomorrow morning, that's a goodbye.